right, it's about that time. Yes. Come on. Let's see. Let's make sure that the live is working, because I know YouTube like to play games. There we go. Cool. Okay, he's live and showing us exactly what we need to see. All right, we have UFC 5 first look trailer gameplay and features. So we're gonna have the volume up here. Hopefully they don't have any copyrighted music, because I will be very annoyed. I got myself the blue light filter glasses because y'all know I just came back from laser eye surgery, so I can't have the eyes getting strained too much. But it's gonna be good. UFC 5 live reveal trailer. We're gonna be watching this live right now. All right, so let's take a look.
Stepping into the octagon is a fully immersive experience. All at once, it becomes you, and it comes at you.
That's the authentic feeling of mixed martial arts we've been working to capture. And with EA Sports UFC 5, this is as real as it gets. For the first time in franchise history, UFC 5 is powered by the Frostbite engine.
And with the Frostbite engine, UFC 5 looks amazing, man. It really gave me those feelings of stepping into the cage.
The Frostbite engine makes a significant impact on the quality of characters and environments. With advanced rendering features, we can deliver even more realistic-looking fighters with industry-leading facial animation technology.
Okay, that's the mocap.
While the arts of mixed martial arts is something it does come with consequences. And I can tell you, those consequences are nasty.
With UFC 5's
we gotta take a look at that again.
Cuts, bruising, and swelling accumulate in accurate locations on the body and have a realistic effect on gameplay. That all starts with the foundation of the Real Impact system, authentic damage.
Damage impacts your fighter's attributes during the game. So, if you got a cut bleeding into your eye, it will lower your defensive abilities on that side of the body. And if you take one too many kicks to your lead leg, you'll start to limp, your mobility will decline, and your attack power will drop.
It's your boy versus Connor. It's fucking hilarious.
Working hand in glove with authentic damage is the all-new strategic.
Oh, come on, not my boy Leon.
Checks and stoppages.
If you take serious damage, the ref might call in the doctor to check on you. Once
No stoppage. There's no stoppage there.
Switch up your strategy to protect that hurt area to keep the fight
Jones is
getting
Stipe.
stopped. And on the other side of this coin, can you make the most of your opponent's injury until the doctor has no choice but to stop the fight? While every fight starts with a feat, it should be just as fun.
Let's pause real quick. I want you to pay attention to something real quick. Y'all see that submission bar? Pay attention to that right there. Pay attention to that submission bar, okay? That is going to be a very important thing that we got to pay attention to.
Angle on the ground. We got a new seamless submission system, and it really legitimizes the ground game in UFC 5.
The seamless submission system removes the minigames completely and functions as an extension of the overall ground game.
We'll talk on it in a bit.
Much faster and far more intuitive experience, keeping the action on the ground fresh and fluid. Showcasing UFC's massive presentation of
I wanted to wait until we finish the whole video, but I gotta talk on this. All right, I want you guys to pay attention to something real quick. All right, so it's talking about this transition-based submissions, right? But there's a bar right there, right? So let's pay attention to the sequence. Right, so he goes for the leg lock. So here, Makhachev is able to escape. Now this is the Casey, right? So you see the bar is already low. And it seemed like right there he mistimed an escape and it turned into a calf slicer. Y'all see that right there? It turned into a calf slicer. So what it's looking like the game is going to be like is that you're going to have to do a lot of the contextual transitions, right? Doing a lot of the contextual transitions against the submission attempts. Because right here, we saw Makhachev able to escape the leg lock position. However, the Casey tried to race that transition. It seems like Oliveira has more stamina than the Casey. So as he tried to race that transition, and because his bar was already reduced to a certain point, that it led to the submission, right? So this is the calf slicer.
And functions as an extension of the overall ground game. This delivers a much faster and far more intuitive experience.
Okay, right here.
Keeping the action on the ground fresh and fluid.
All right. So let's see. So you go right here. And then we have a little bit left on the bar right here with Ferguson, right? Ferguson right here, it has a small bar left. So he's actually able to survive this. Once this thing is empty, it seems like the submission is pretty much a done deal.
Showcasing UFC's massive presentation
Okay,
updates,
we're going to pay attention to that.
Innovative fashion is the all-new cinematic KO replay. Thanks to the power of Frostbite, players can now rewatch the finishing blows in
They recreated the Zhang knockout.
Those super slow motion finishes.
All too soon.
All those cinematic camera angles and lighting, it really turns your knockout into a work of art.
Plus, we've added improved interactions with
Okay, that looks much better than the UFC 4.
Added the ability to go to a draw on the
Oh! Okay, hold on. We gotta let this play out.
online play, which is something
Draws.
we've been asking for. UFC 5 is truly an extension
That's true.
of the
Been asking
UFC
for that for a
fan
while.
experience. Thanks to Fight Week, an all-new series of features and challenges synced with real-world fight events bring you more content and rewards.
I honestly
than ever
don't care
before.
too much about this,
Like
but
the all-new alter egos.
they got 50 G's Connor, 50 G's baby Connor, Young John Jones.
Staggering level of content.
Get his man a Shinobi at that.
New introduction. And Coach Davis is back to guide the player through their UFC career.
But is he actually gonna do
along with
something
help
though?
from none other than
Okay.
the Bullet herself, Valentina Shevchenko, who crushes it as an all-new NPC.
This is the best training facility in the world. There is no place like it.
Then there are new cinematics, locations, and a refined focus on onboarding.
Striking don't look
And
that
last
much
but
better.
not least,
We'll talk
trust
on
me,
that.
It's not least. If you pre-order UFC
Because I think some people are grasped in certain things right now.
heavyweight fighters, including Muhammad Ali,
Okay.
Mike Tyson,
Mike Tyson.
and the last emperor, Fedor Emelianenko.
Okay.
Fedor? Come on, man. That's too good.
Alright.
Thanks for joining us, DC, and thank you all for watching. We're excited for you to find
Too
out
soon.
for yourselves that UFC 5 is as real.
Yo, GSP ain't knocking out Usman, alright? Alright. So let's run a couple things back here with this trailer review, okay? So they're showing. So we gotta think about something. In UFC 4, right? You can do so much damage to an opponent, right? The trailer was fire. The trailer was fire. So let's look at what really matters, right? And it's gonna be the damage and everything else, right? So on UFC 4, right? We didn't really have the threat of a doctor stoppage happening. So we're getting a lot of fights in UFC 4 where we're getting like 7 to 8 knockdowns happening at one time, and people are able to survive, right? So if this right here, right? This is an exchange I want to look at right here. Look very carefully, right?
So, if you got a cut bleeding into your eye, it will lower your defensive abilities on that side of the body.
Okay, so Cormier, I know he's a casual when it comes to the games and whatnot, but you see these little icons here, right? We need to pay attention to these icons. These icons, this is telling you that a certain side of your body is certain. Now, I don't know if the eye means, okay, if it's the eye is on this side, that means it's your right eye. Or if your eye is on here, it means your left eye. It could just mean the eye damage in general, right?
Bleeding into your eye.
So what does that tell you, right? Okay. Eye damage would mean that probably your accuracy is going to get off. It'll probably mean that you're more susceptible to damage on that side. Does that affect your block meter? Not too sure, right?
It will lower your defensive abilities.
Right? And it also seems to me that when you start to take damage on the short-term stamina side of things, it increases the likelihood of something like this happening.
Lower your defensive abilities on that side of the body. And if you take one too many
Okay.
kicks to your lead
So here no cut happens.
leg, you'll start
And look what happened here. I want you to pay attention to this animation right here. Well, look.
kicks to your lead leg. You'll start
His leg gets hurt. But as his leg gets hurt, it looked like the Connor player actually tried to kick back. Right?
kicks to your lead leg. You'll start
So that's going to imply there's actual literal physics to it. Like there's actual literal physics to getting leg damage, right? Because now that leg is kicked out. He tried to immediately kick after that leg got damaged, and an animation happened where it got stumbled, which I think is a really great addition.
your mobility will decline and
Okay.
your attack power will drop. Got it. I'll take it some captain. They look just as painful as
Level
Okay.
of authentic damage is the
And then right here.
strategic
So now we have the ground and pound, right? So I think it's pretty clear that based on what we've seen so far, now we have the addition of elbows. I don't know how they're going to handle that. If they're using the same system from UFC 4, they're going to have to add some new transitions to defend against that stuff. Me personally, what I've hated the most about UFC 4, and I've been very vocal about it, I even have a video called the things that make me, that grinds my gears about UFC 4, and it's the GMP escapes, right? They need to make it that the GMP escapes are going to be more so about either escaping or recovering guard And people who are at level 4 or 5 or whatnot with their move levels, those individuals are going to be the people that can hit those sweeps, and they have to lock that shit behind a better stamina. Like, it can't be you slip one strike and then you reverse the person in the ground and pound. Because that's going to defeat the whole purpose of throwing elbows, throwing strikes in the ground and pound. But it would make more sense that you're able to re-guard and establish position that way. I'd rather something like that. If you're going to have elbows in the game.
The ref might call in the doctor to check on you. Once you're cleared to keep fighting, you're going to have to switch up your strategy to protect that hurt area to keep the fight from getting stopped. And on the other side of this coin, can you make
and notice right here, right? You notice how in the Pedro Munoz, right? If we look at Pedro Munoz right here, let's go to that damage here. So this right here, right? This is showing like a med kit and the eye damage. The med kit, that's probably a sign for doctor, like the doctor is going to come in. If you notice right here with the Stipe thing, it's only the eye damage. There's no med kit there. So assuming that the eye damage is telling the player, hey, look, your eye is fucked up, your eye is damaged, but there's no need to have the doctor come in. That's going to be my assumption, because that's kind of like a med kit that it has there with the Pedro Munoz thing. Right? And also, what I'm looking at right here, looks like it, but here's the thing. That didn't do as much damage, right? The lower short-term stamina. I'm gonna take a guess, right? If we're gonna attack people, right? So say this guy's going buck wild and crazy, right? Is the lower short-term stamina going to create a better opportunity to create a cut, to create damage? Because if that's the case, that means if you go too buck wild and you try to finish somebody right away, right? We have somebody who brought up the block breaking and whatnot. We do that, and then you get caught or like a cut or something, or somebody intercepts you. It's more likely. John looks like he was sliding with striking. They definitely gotta tune something like that down. They gotta make sure that the movement with forward moving, right here. He's using his feet, like he's bringing his feet together, but I don't like. This is what I don't like right here. So he does that forward moving uppercut. Right, he steps in. And then right there's a little bit of a slide. They need to make an adjustment that once he commits to that strike, that he can't slide forward. So that's a good call out by High Level. What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, and now we're going to look at this doctor stoppage animation, right? So where's Leon? We had Leon, right? So let's pay attention to two things. All right, let's look here. You see this right here? That means no stoppage. You see, he's telling the ref, hey, he needs to keep defending himself. That's what it looks like right there. However, when it gets to this point, right? Once the doctor does this, it's a wrap. It's GG's. It's a wrap, right? And they're saying that it's only a 2% chance of getting a doctor stoppage. So my thing is there going to be a stat or something? Is it going to be based on your chin, your recovery? Like, what's going to determine your ability to keep getting cut? And what's going to increase the likelihood of you dealing with a doctor stoppage coming your way? Hey, Miles, thank you for the $20 donation, brother. John just give me so PY books. Yeah. Thank you for the $20 donations, brother. Okay, so we got to keep that in mind. All right, now this is what I want to get into. This is probably the most important thing. This is the most important thing right here. So we have no more minigame. No more minigames. You don't have to deal with that Cronus bullshit and anything else like that, right? So let's look at the submission. All right, so here's the submission bar. Based on the damage right here, submission defense and everything else along those lines, we're going to have to go with... All right, so we're going to look at this transition, right? So Oliveira has this leg lock position, right? It's kind of like the 50-50 right here. Looks like 50-50, right? He's going to... So Makhachev started to go backside first, right? He went backside, and he has a short-term stamina advantage against Oliveira. All right, so let's pay attention. Let's pay attention. This is new. This is something we all got to understand, right? All right. So look at this. After Makhachev started to go backside, Oliveira opted to go to side control instead, right? Because he has a stamina disadvantage. He loses that contextual rate. So it's just like... So in UFC 4... There's certain positions where, all right, when you end up in bottom half guard, right, and you get grappled GA, and the guy tries to pass you into your side control, a couple guys, like you guys know, right, you guys face against Oliveira, you guys face against Ferguson, you face against certain fighters, they'll be able to beat you to get you back into the full guard. That's going to be the same case with these submissions here because we're going to play it back right here, right? So watch, we get into the position. Makhachev immediately went backside. Oliveira's trying to beat him to go side control. And that's going to look like that's going to be the new meta for the game. Now look right here. Look right here. Now let's pay more attention here. Oliveira has more stamina than Mark DeCasey. He's initiated the leg lock here. DeCasey's trying to go for the get up. Right? Right?
The seamless submission system removed.
So it's looking like, okay, so there, DeCasey had lower short-term stamina. He started the get up too late. And as Oliveira went for the leg lock, he went for the leg lock first. So maybe backside would have been a better option for him to go there. But from there, as he tried to go to the get up escape, it turned into a calf slicer. Yeah, that's really good. But it also means, right, what this also means is that in UFC 2, 3, and 4, the ground game is very stale because you're constantly waiting on the denial. If there is more weight in transitioning before your opponent, right, or after your opponent, as they're trying to go, even if they deny you, if certain transitions are beating the sub attempt itself, that means the game is not just going to be about the denial, which I think is a step in the right direction. Right, so watch right here. He goes to the armbar. Let's see what happens. Okay, so immediately he attacked the armbar with Gilbert Burns. And this has to be because of Tony's sub defense, right? Because max stamina, his bar was already low. So look, the bar was already like super low. And Gilbert Burns has high submission offense, right? You beat the sub. Yes. So even though he had a good stamina lead, he's using Gilbert Burns, who has high sub offense. I don't know if this is welterweight Tony Ferguson and welterweight Gilbert Burns or lightweight. Obviously can't really tell. But by the sliver right there, Burns was able to survive, right? I mean, Ferguson's able to survive. So I think a lot of the meta is going to be, we're going to be trying to transition. The denials are going to matter, but there needs to be, I don't know if they're going to add any features in between all that that's going to really incentivize people to move first or move at a specific time. Because now it becomes about timing. And then what I want to see is, how is the top game going to play against the bottom game, right? If I go against Islam Makhachev and he's on top and I'm using Iaquinta on bottom, right? There's probably going to be a good chance in some positions he's going to outrace me and beat me because of his stats. However, if I have somebody like Charles Oliveira off my back against, say Dustin or something, right? And Dustin tries to transition in positions that favor him. Is he going to win those positions or is Charles going to go? What's up, Matt? Okay, so let's take a look. So now here's my question. All right. So in UFC, so let's talk real quick. In UFC 4, right? We have the main issue with UFC 4 was the mini games, so we don't have the mini games too, right? The other issue, right? The other issue too is that in UFC 4, certain positions were super strong for no goddamn reason. Well, obviously we're gonna be talking about back sitting. The back sitting rear naked choke was super strong. You could submit people with Conor McGregor while they're using Damian Maia as long as you knew the minigame. Now, what I'm wondering is, are certain positional chokes or joint subs or leg locks, are they stronger from certain positions? Because if you guys recall correctly, right, if you went for an arm triangle from side saddle in UFC 4 versus arm triangle from half guard, which one's stronger? You guys can answer this, right? You guys can answer that, right? It's side saddle. Side saddle stronger than the arm triangle from half guard. So in order to make this system work and not have the issue of backside or back sitting that we had in UFC 4, it's going to be really important for them to make sure that certain positions aren't stronger than specific positions. Now the only intangible there is going to be move levels. So if we're going to have guys with, maybe a guillotine is weak with this guy, right? Maybe he has like a level something guillotine here. But he has, and it's a weak position to go for the sub. But if he has a high move level, it makes that position much more viable for them. The other thing is, when you're talking about these transitional racers, what race is going to, does the move level or of the wrestling transitions or jiu-jitsu transitions affect how fast you're going to be able to race or what's going to pop up for you? So, You know, we could see some nerfs to backside because backside. Hey, I love using a backside in jiu-jitsu, but it's not like the craziest position to get submissions from, right? It should be more movement. Yes, it should be more movement.
System removes the minigames completely. And
Okay.
This delivers an all-new cinematic KO.
Okay, honestly, the replays, this presentation updates, referee interactions, right?
We've added improved interactions with the
Eye
referee
damage. Okay, but there's another thing right here.
Plus, we've added
Let's pay attention to the icons.
improved
Here, it's like head damage. This is a head damage icon.
interactions with the referee
Okay.
and ground and pound.
Yellow. So we've seen. Does that mean that subs are easy to get if you have a stamina advantage? I don't think so. I think probably yes, but I also think that when you transition is more important than your stamina itself, because I don't think the devs are gonna implement this system in mind. If you make it all about stamina, then we're gonna have the exact same issue in UFC 4 where it's who can transition, who can deny somebody first. But if we make it so, what I would like to see them do is I want them to maybe, I don't know what the short-term stamina drain is like for like this current game and whatnot. I would like them, if they're gonna do the beta anytime soon, because they're supposed to be doing that, test out what it's gonna be like before launch. I want to see what the denials are gonna be looking like.
On stoppages.
Yeah.
And added the ability to go to a
And now here, this right here, online draws. This is important. Like, I've been talking about draws for the longest time because in UFC 2, 3, and 4, there's no draws, right? There's no draws. And there was no draws. So what happened with draws is that it leads to a bunch of wonky decisions, right? Because if somebody were to lose the first 2 rounds and they get a 10-8 in the 3rd round, because there's no draws, the game will randomly select a winner. It's literally flip a coin and see who wins. Now, because they've implemented draws, there's no, oh, that should have been a draw or could have been a draw. But this, I wonder what the percentage of draws is going to be like, or what's going to be the criteria for there to be a draw. But this is going to be a draw animation. And draws going to be in ranked, right? So we have the win-loss record. Now, how many draws are going to be in ranked as well? You would even want to wrestle using wrestle. And that's the thing, right? So if you're using a wrestler, you're going to probably be more focused towards wrestling type of submissions, right? So if you're a wrestler, you're going to be focused on arm triangles, rear naked chokes, bulldog chokes, if that's still in the game, or anything like that. If you're a jiu-jitsu guy, depending on your stats, you're going to be more likely to focus on those other type of transitions. So I'm liking where that changes things. That changes things because in UFC 4, everybody can, if you got to a certain position, you got a denial, it didn't matter who it was. You know the minigame, you can get people. Backside? Are you talking about backside 50-50 or just backside? I'm talking about this. Hold on. It looks like backside 50-50 right here. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up for you because you just joined the stream.
Should be just as fun.
Right when they get into this, looks like almost like he's trying to get into. Yeah, it's not outside Ashi yet.
Angle on the ground.
It's like Ashigarami right there. 50-50 type of vibe. I'm wondering if you can counter, like you can counter a leg lock with a leg lock. I think that'd be really dope. Let's see. Game modes. Honestly, I could do the game modes. I care more about the gameplay. Of course, though, if y'all want to see me do like a bunch of, I'll obviously have to stream career mode. I'll do all that stuff. 50-50, right? Whitaker and Duplessis. This is not Whitaker and Duplessis. Okay, let's talk about picks. Okay, cool. My other thing is too, right? So let's talk about damage, right? Before my boy Aldo gets knocked down, striking a takedown, I would hope so. They showed us Michael Chandler throwing an overhand into a takedown. I'd hope that's in the game. That's more seamless, right? So if that side's already damaged a lot, it should make it easier to KO from that side. Yeah, honestly, bro, I don't know how. I'm not gonna have my hopes up high. Like y'all know me, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I don't keep my hopes up high for career mode. I never do. Ever since like UFC 3, I played the UFC 3 career mode, and then when you're like young and you're like playing that, you're like, oh man, this is so cool, and then it gets kind of monotonous. And in UFC 4, they had his coach Barry Davis here. Oh yeah, he's gonna be helping me. That motherfucker was not there for me until I won the title. He's there for you for like the first 5 seconds, and then he comes back when you're fighting for a title. Will the clinch be denied? They're definitely leapfrogging around that.
There is no place.
Here's my thing though. If they don't make the clinch deniable, they need to make the clinch entries weaker, more vulnerable, more likely to get hit stunned out. Because the problem with UFC forced clinch is that it warps too much, and you can eat like 3. Yeah, there's no clinch gameplay in the trailer, right? So my thing is, suggestion-wise, I think something that we're gonna have to see it for them to clinch, and I'll actually note that down. And they have to make the clinch entry weaker so it incentivizes people to go for slip clinches or duck clinches. Because in UFC 4, a person can clinch you and they will eat like 2 uppercuts and a hook. The only time that it stops them is if they have a low short-term stamina or if you caught them right in the beginning. If they make the clinch weaker, even if it's undeniable, if you can hit stun your way out of it, it's going to be better.
Cinematics.
Who plays the games for the mode? Bro, there's 22 million people that play UFC 4. I don't know if you know that, Dog Pal. 22 million people play UFC 4. And a good portion of that is offline people. So we, as a competitive player base, we're a good percentage, but not even remotely closer to offline.
Location.
Right? So in UFC 4, we only have the cross. So I like to see the jab work as an option at the right distance. I like to see you be able to combo a little bit longer. I want them to reward smart clinching, like well-timed clinching, as opposed to like mindless clinching. You know what I'm saying?
And a refined focus on onboarding.
Okay.
And last but not least, and trust
Yeah,
me,
submissions look
not
dope.
least, if you pre-order UFC 5,
Whew.
you'll receive a roster of legendary heavyweight UFC 5.
That flying knee looks
Trust
different
me,
too.
It's not least.
Look at that. Look at that.
If you pre-order UFC 5, you'll receive a roster of legendary.
All right, the legends.
Mike Tyson,
Okay. I'll say this too. With Mike Tyson, there is Carla Esparza in UFC 4, UFC 3 and 4. She has a signature movement where she's bobbing and weaving her head. If they don't give that to Mike Tyson, ooh, I'm gonna be pissed. Cause she, out of every character, she has that.
Emperor, Fedor. We're excited for you to find out for yourselves that UFC 5 for you to find.
Let's look at the vulnerability too. Hold on.
Thanks for joining us, GC.
He tries throwing a strike, so he gets caught on vulnerability. The front kick lands. Okay.
Thank you all.
There, even though Cruz is moving away, he's circling into the kick, kind of, right? He's moving into it. Right, he's not circling, but he leaves that side open, and his block is down here.
We're excited for you to find out.
And then right here, Usman is throwing a kick.
UFC 5
Boom.
is as real as it gets.
So a lot of these are like vulnerability moments, right? So here, Usman's throwing a kick.
Excited for you
He's
to
getting
find out
timed
for
by
yourselves
the
that
Superman
UFC
punch on one leg,
5
leads to
is
knockout.
as real
Here, Jarzinho committed to a forward moving strike.
as it gets.
Uppercutted the shit. Okay. That's honestly, this is a great gameplay reveal. This is a fantastic gameplay reveal. But we got to see a lot more. Of course, the clinch is absent. So, it's true. I don't even want to play UFC 4, bro. I don't even want to play UFC 4 after seeing this, man. But I think, so what can we know that's absent from the trailer? We don't see anything in the clinch, right? And I think that part of that reason why is because the person that first started up the whole clinch thing, he's now works at Santa Monica Studio, Mr. Jeff Harrower. And they don't have anybody like Jeff working on the clinch. It's going to be very limited for them. I wouldn't trust them to overhaul it too much. I know the striking, if they clean up the tracking, it's about the tracking. The tracking with the striking. Now for the beta, I always expect a lot of issues during the beta. Because the beta for UFC 3 was crazy. Like, you know, you could throw one leg kick and your leg rock. So always expect issues in the beta. What I like, on launch, a lot of tracking issues should be fixed. So we can reward a lot more defensive movement and everything else like that, right? The game looks good. The game ain't even out, but we're talking about fixing stuff already. Brother, it's EA. You gotta expect what you gotta expect, Song. Come on, you don't. Get your mind together. Let's be realistic. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit y'all. I'm never gonna bullshit y'all. We gotta expect what we gotta expect, because there's always gonna be players that are gonna find busted things. There's always gonna be people that are gonna find some stuff that can be cheese. So the quicker that we see that stuff, right? The quicker that we see that stuff, the better we can work on it. Because that's where my head's at. Because in UFC 4, the guillotine was super overpowered. Stamina was super overpowered. Marathoner was busted as hell. So we have to make sure that we see whatever we can see.
Environments. With advanced
how I think they're trying to display how dangerous stand up is now. Yes, because that was in UFC 4. You could knock somebody down like 4 or 5 times, and you could try to jump on for the finish. You could try to do whatever, but they could always kind of wait and be like, look, if I get this slip hook or if I get this pull elbow, I can get this guy out of here, right? But now with the threat of doctor stoppages, right, you can literally knock somebody down 2, 3. If you knock somebody down 2, 3 times in a round, like you can you get some shit. You hope.
We can deliver even more
Right?
realistic looking fighters with industry-leading
You think fighters will be? I hope not. I would really hope not.
facial animation.
They need more of a whiff window. This is a mocap.
Mixed martial arts is something to behold. It does come with consequences.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Nashi. You have to be realistic. You can't. I may work with EA with like the design council and all that stuff like that, but this is my first, like literally my first time seeing this.
Bruising and swelling accumulate an accurate.
Ooh, that's swelling. That looks good though. The cuts and everything looks good. Looks like bossy.
That all starts with the foundation.
You're here, like look at Pena, right? Now, is it just me or does the stamina bar look bigger? Yeah, way more dangerous. Yeah, because you can't really plod forward at each strikes because look, this is round 1, and she already has a cut on her eye and all this. So here's another thing, right? So let's go back to stand up. I want to pay attention to what Cormier said here. Let's go back right here.
His attributes during the
Okay.
damage impacts your fighter's attributes during the game. So, if you got a cut bleeding into your eye, it will lower your defensive abilities on that side of the body. And if you take 1 too many kicks to your lead leg, you'll start to limp.
Okay. I'm going to answer that question. Okay, so for starters, Cormier said attributes, right? So that means that, so that's eye damage, right? If there's eye damage, right? What happens if your nose breaks, right? Is the nose going to affect the stamina recovery between rounds, right? Can't automatically go into, I think you should just walk in the guard. If it's the same system, I just walk in the stat guard. That's kind of been my thing, right? So let's think about it, right? So let's think about it. It says real impact system. So eye is visual, right? The eye is visual. So it's going to probably affect your accuracy. If you break your nose, that's going to affect your breathing, right? So that would affect the stamina. If you armbar somebody, that would affect the block. And if we look right here, let's look at the leg damage. No, let's actually look right here.
Showcasing UFC's
I don't like that they didn't show that. You would assume, all right, this is the arm. It should affect the block. I want to see the submissions do more effects on that. So hopefully that's it. Let's see. Defense is going to be more important, right? The elbows. Eye damage when you can attack the certain side of the block. Yeah, so that, I mean, that's pretty much just clear. But I think it's just more exemplified, right? So, because look, like in UFC 4, you're already throwing left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook. But if you see the character model's damage is on the right side, then that would mean that you would target this. Now, for McNasty's question, right? The power, yeah. Okay. He said, what about slip hooks, man? Those things are busted. How should they address that? Well, okay, so let's think about block count. One option, right? Block counters, right? The block counter, I've been like saying for months they have to fix the block counter because it doesn't work as well as it should in UFC 4. I'm going to go in with the assumption that's already fixed in UFC 5. So if counters are more important and counters are more likely to, let's say that counters are more likely to open up cuts, right? If it's more likely to open up cuts, then that would mean that you can't just slip hook every single time because now you can't eat it. I would say that naked slip hooks will leave you more vulnerable to getting rocked and getting cut versus UFC 4. You think about it. UFC 4, it had busted tracking, it could walk through stuff, and there was more of an incentive to eat the shot to land your own than if you did the other way around. Now, if you have the threat of cuts and you have some dude who's trying to slip hook the entire time, we have to see. We're going to have to see in the beta how well it works. My other thing is, too, how is body damage going to work? Right? Because now we have everything here. It's going to be liver damage affecting the stamina recovery between rounds. This is going to be specific body damage. Because one thing I don't like about UFC 4 is that the body damage is too emphatic way too early. Like, it takes, unless you catch somebody at a perfect bone moment in real life, like when you see guys like when they catch them extended real hard and they nail them to the liver, that makes more sense than somebody just going slip, lead body hook, rear body hook, slip, lead body hook, rear body hook, which a lot of people are starting to do now because they're fishing for a lot of hard counters. I would much rather see that the game takes the body shots in a direction And of course, I think move levels and all that stuff matters too. I'd rather see that it moves towards a direction where it's going to affect stamina, like as an investment outside of very critical moments. Like if you get hit with almost zero short-term stamina to the body, I think that should result in like a health event, because I want to see what's gonna be the case with these icons right here. So with all these icons and everything else like that, is they're gonna be going for the body, and is that also gonna affect your stamina recovery between rounds? But that's honestly, this is really, really good. The moving strikes do look better. My mic is low. My mic is right here, bro. Okay. So no, yeah, that was shit. Marshall was saying made the game better. UFC 4, bro. I never have faith in. You can't hear my phone. How about now? Let's let me go here. Let's turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up. What's up, Kairos? What's up, Kairos? Turn your phones up. Hey, he said he hears me perfectly. All right. So, okay. So, let's go do a quick little recap before I end this stream, because this is really great. Thank you for Regional Champ. And, of course, hold on for the 180 people in here. For when UFC 5 drops, I'm going to be dropping, like, a bunch of tutorial content and everything else, right? Tutorial content. And then I'm going to have some stuff for UFC 5 that I'm going to do for my members, because there's going to be stuff for the game that everybody should know. And then there's going to be some tactics I'm going to end up having for some people. You feel me? Okay? But we're going to see. We're going to see. So, keep that in mind. So, that's regional champ and above. But we're going to go quick overview. We have the damage system, right? Cormier says that the attributes are going to be affected, right? So, that could mean breathing. That could mean eyesight. That could mean block, right? You take too much block damage, maybe you can't bring your block up as fast. Then we have the submission system, which is transition-based, as they said. And the key thing that we had to pay attention to is that certain timing of transitions are beating certain moments, right? We need to pay attention to the little details, because not a lot of other content creators are going to notice this stuff. I know Marshall is likely going to. But like little stuff like this, right? Even though it's like a transition, it seemed like it's going to 1 to the 2. It's not a guaranteed sub finish, right? And look, the Islam player immediately recognized that this transition is not safe. Like, they got into this leg lock position, he immediately started transitioning. The Oliveira tried going to side control, and he won this position. Now here, the Casey, not only is his submission bar low, but his short-term stamina is lower than Oliveira's. There needs to be something in between all that can probably try to maybe balance it out. Or like maybe baiting people to deny you or something. I don't know how they'll try to implement that, but I think that'll be something good for them to add. I don't know. We'll have to discuss. But right here, right? He went leg lock first. He went for the get up. Is backside safer if you miss the early window to try to go for leg locks? That's the type of game that we're going to be trying to focus on, right? Look right here, and then it goes to the cap slicer. We're going over an overview. So we're going to have to figure out as a community, like, what beats what matchup beats what in this exchange, what race is likely for you to take less damage in comparison to another race. That's what it's looking like the game meta on the ground is going to be. Because look, they didn't even have to go for it now or anything like that. So it's okay. And hold on. The Kimura. Yeah, hold on. Let's look at the Kimura. So Kimura in half guard. So here, right? So he ends up here. Now my assumption is, so if he goes for this Kimura, like this is the purple, and usually the purple means finish in like UFC 4 if you go to practice mode. But if you see, so if he were to go for this Kimura and Makhachev would transition, I'd bet my left foot that Makhachev would win that transition battle. So even if you get to a submission position, you have to try to, I'm pretty sure racing him is more important. So massive. I think it has to be for the grappling. I think it's the only thing. Yeah, the cap slicer is nice. Maybe we don't have to hold R1 for it anymore. Momentum transition be more meta? Absolutely. Yeah. And then right here, he goes for the Kimura. No. He's going for the armbar. What position is that from? Oh! Yeah. Hold on. I just caught something. Look very carefully.
Far more intuitive experience.
All right, before I say it, did y'all see that? All right, I want you guys to pay attention. Look real quick, okay? Did y'all see it? Let me know right now. Did y'all see that? Did you guys see that? If you guys saw what I saw, say yes. If you guys didn't see what I saw, say no. And I'm explaining y'all right now. I just noticed this. Rob saw it. Okay, Rob R saw it. So let's see something real quick, right? Pay attention to the animation right here. Oliveira is going for this Kimura, correct? Look very carefully. Let's actually slow-mo it. Let's slow-mo this. Playback speed. Let's go for half speed. Let's take off the volume, right? So this is the early. So right here. That is the Kimura, right? He reversed the sub, right? So at that stage, right? Now let's look at this. So look. Ferguson is going for the Kimura. He's attacking the Kimura from bottom half guard. And then from right here, Gilbert counters with an armbar. Gilbert countered his submission with a submission. Yo, that is crazy. Hold on. This changes everything. This changes even more than what we already see, right? So now for those of you who are new in the chat, look very carefully, right? Look. Not Islam, it was Burns who armbar. Look. So Charles goes for the Kimura and he gets this Kimura. Right? He gets the reversal of the position. But look at Tony Ferguson. He goes for it. He gets denied. And then with his denial, he's able to turn this Kimura into an armbar. That is just like hold on. I know exactly what that's like. Hughes GSP. Yep. Let's pull it up right now. Let's go. GSP. Hughes. Armbar. Let's go right here. Tools. Type. GIF. Okay. No, hold on. That's right here. That's it. That's the submission right there. Look. GSP tries to go for Kimura. And look how fast that was. Armbar. Kimura, then armbar. Woo! Yo, that's exactly this right here. Look. That is literally this right here. We have ourselves an interesting game on the ground. I think things are changing for the better. This alone, wow, that just changes things for the that changes things for the better. That is, bro. I don't even want to play like the grappling on UFC 4 right now. Seeing something like that, I'd rather just like do standing bang with my rookie. Yeah, that is great. Okay, all right, that's a great thing. Okay, we're gonna end it right here. That's really, really dope. That's a really dope thing to catch too. Right before we end this stream. There's probably gonna be some more news later down the week. Like they're based on that schedule that they dropped. I'm really, really excited for this, and I cannot. Oh man, this is great. Y'all, we're gonna definitely have some more of these in the future. Thank you for the $20 donation, Mr. Miles. We had about 230 people here watching. Yeah, I don't even want to play UFC 4 no more. UFC 5 is up. It's up, yo. It's gonna have some fun.